Hello, welcome to Dark Current Cinema Backyard presents Backyard Cinema 101, and this is a pseudo audio commentary, a bit of a making of. We just want to share with you our experiences of backyard filmmaking, and hopefully some of this information may help you in making your own picture. And what you're watching right now is just some raw footage. I can't go back and forth giving you tons of reference here, but it's really bizarre. This is something that I feel every backyard filmmaker should know. Anyone who has never attempted to make a movie, say all you've got is passion and excitement for whatever project you've dreamt up, and you go to shoot that first take and you watch it, you're instantly discouraged because you get this crazy idea that that one take is going to embody your whole fucking movie. And that's just not how it is. Some get discouraged because they realize, oh my God, this is actually going to be work. Because you may have a lot of passion, you may have a lot of excitement, you've watched tons of movies, you watched them your entire life, and you're so ready to do this, and you have this perfect film imagined, and you get out there, you have an actor, everything is set up, you get that first take, and it's like, oh God, this is just one piece. It's one piece. I know that may sound like duh, but when you're starting out, you don't have that realization right away. At least I found that I didn't, and Erica didn't. We all went through that kind of experience where it's like, damn, this is going to be a lot of work, because in making a movie, plenty of filmmakers have said this, where it's not a sprint, it's a marathon. And it's true. It's like, I would equate it to putting together a jigsaw puzzle where you're given all the pieces, they're all sitting out before you, and you have no idea what the picture is until some bastard off to the side goes, okay, here's the picture. Yeah, you got that? Okay, now you can never look at it again. And that's what it is. You have that 5-second glimpse at the picture. That's all you're working on now. And you have to try and figure out, okay, how do I put this together? And for me, that's a lot of fun. This can be very discouraging for first timers, but if you're really passionate about the idea and you want to see it through, just work through it. Get all those pieces together, and it's always best to start small. One thing to keep in mind: take some of our most respected filmmakers out there, like Robert Rodriguez. You know, his first film wasn't El Mariachi, not at all. That wasn't his first movie. He spent years making short movies on videos, just on videotape with his siblings, and that's how he started. He made movies on videotape when he was a kid. So he had already taught himself how to make movies. And you see the culmination of all that experience and knowledge with El Mariachi. And even before that, he had an award-winning short film called Bedhead. So it's easy to think, well, that was his first film and he did it like this. Well, no, that was his first theatrically released film. He made tons of little short movies before he even reached that pitch. And that's something to keep in mind, that before you do that dream project, start small. Give yourself a little project. I don't know if you watch like The Flash or Supergirl, but when they first started crime fighting, they didn't immediately go out and save the world. They started small. It's like stopping purse snatchers and foiling a carjacking, stuff like that. You never want to tackle your big dream right away. You want to concentrate on little projects first. That way you can get a really good sense of it, and you can develop your own style, if you have one at all. You won't figure that out until you try. All I'm saying now, as we watch all these raw takes, and it's rough. It's really rough, because I'm reminded this isn't the whole movie. No, not by a long shot. You're just grabbing all these pieces. But keep that in mind when you start your own project. Now, we're going to go into the movie proper now. Now that you've gotten a sense of what a raw take looks like, let's just go ahead. Oh my God, cars! That's that's one of the trials and tribulations you'll have to experience when making a backyard film. You know, just making a little movie on your own with a few friends. Yeah, you can't block off streets. You can't do any of that bullshit. You gotta just work with what you have. But anyway, let's go ahead and dive into the movie. And here we go. The Dark Current Cinema logo. I like mercifully short logos. I don't like them taking 30 fucking seconds. Now, this sequence here with Amanda, I'm just going to pause this for a moment. Now, this whole sequence here, initially this movie was called Paid with Good Intentions, and it was one in a three-part series of short movies, and they all took place in Raven Heights. The one element that links them together is Amanda Ray Hamilton, who you see now. And a couple of years went by. We made this in 2014, and we found that the concept just didn't really, it just didn't really work. You know, it held the movies back. So now I've gone back and re-edited all these pictures with Erica's blessing. I say that because this was Erica's exercise in style. We were going to co-direct the third part, and we did. The third part is called Skeletons, and that will be uploaded sometime next year. She hadn't been behind the camera in a while, so she wanted to have a little project where she could get back behind the camera, feel comfortable again, and just ease her way into it, because she actually went to film school. I didn't. I've been teaching myself how to make movies since I was like 16. But yeah, so this is a holdover from that. And if you watch this initial version here, yeah, that's what linked it to the first short movie, Come Downstairs, which I may not release. I'm not as happy with that one. This is a holdover from that. And this is a super short movie, and in many respects it does work like a silent film, where there's really no dialogue. I mean, there's some, but there's nothing going on between these characters other than chasing and all that fun stuff. So we just use this as a means to kind of establish Amanda as an everyday girl. So we're playing on your empathy a little bit. She could be any girl. She could be any woman working and having to make that arduous commute back home. It sucks, but that's how you work it. Now, she was looking up at a billboard advertising her show, and that was our way of telling the audience, oh, well, this connects up with Come Downstairs, the previous short story. And I got rid of that. So now I just have this one take. And how do you salvage that? Because if I cut this movie down anymore, I mean, I guess I could have opened it with just the Metro and it would have been just as effective. But I thought, you know what? I really like the shot. I like that we're out and about. We shot this in and around DC. No permits whatsoever. This was guerrilla style movie making. It's very easy to get away with if you're not doing dialogue. And our video camera, it's a Sony HDV video camera. We shot 1080p, but it doesn't stand out as a film camera. You're not going to attract a lot of attention. And oftentimes we were really far away from Amanda. This is all like zoom lens action here and incredibly steady hands. That's it. So we didn't get hassled by Metro police or, yeah, you know, nothing like that. It was easy. But how do I salvage the shot? And that's when I thought, you know what, why not have an audio bit where you hear a car screeching to a halt and some honking and a guy going, you know, hey, I'm fucking walking here. It kind of giving you that tone of apathy, you know, and I'm sure we all feel it walking around a goddamn city. And that was my way of salvaging this shot. Hey, motherfucker, am I invisible? Watch the goddamn road. That's how you salvage a shot. Sometimes your sound design can fix a mistake or give you an alternative. So often we focus on the visuals. We don't realize, oh my God, we could do something that's completely off screen just with the sound work. And that's something to keep in mind. If you would like to know more about sound design, I highly recommend any, two DVDs in particular, Seven and, The Social Network. David Fincher movies are like film school in a box. And they give you lots of great ideas. You may think those are the big boys. How does that apply to me? I disagree. A lot of that logic can apply to backyard cinema. So give those a shot. If you haven't gotten them yet, rent them or just buy them, because again, they are film school in a box, and concentrate on the featurettes concerning sound design with Ren Kleiss. He's a brilliant sound designer. He gave me a lot of great ideas in how to create life without ever seeing it. That's the best way to describe it. But we carry on with the movie. Now here's a fun bit. Now you see here she's standing what looks like the street corner. The thing is, she's standing on the very same corner that the ghoul is on. Why is that? Because we didn't have another street lamp. And you look down at the bottom edge of the frame, it looks as if she's on the sidewalk, she's on the other side of the street. No, you're actually seeing the sidewalk way far away. She never got on that sidewalk. She's on the very same sidewalk that I am. And you can cheat a lot of things like that. See, you wouldn't have known any better if I hadn't said anything. I mean, maybe you would have. You have a much better eye than I do. But it tricked me, it tricked my girlfriend, and it tricked our little test audience that we had. Now, here, this was a colossal fuck up, because we wanted to have hollowed out eye sockets. The ghoul is supposed to be blind. But we just couldn't get the time, we couldn't get the money. Now, this whole thing with the eyes, what we did was we just blacked out my eyes. That's it. With the heightened contrast, we have very low light. And that was intentional. Some people have complained that the movie is too dark. I kind of don't care. I don't feel it's too dark. I can see what the fuck is happening. I think a lot of it depends on your display and how you have your settings, but one thing that drives both Erica and I nuts is that so often you see movies at night and you can see the street clearly, and there's very little justification for it. It's like every day is a full moon in a fucking horror film, and you can see everything. Well, when I walk outside my house at night, it gets really fucking dark, especially since I live in a more rural area, and there's not a lot of street light. There's not a lot of street lights. We were lucky to find this light. There's only a few areas down this street, because this is outside my home, where we have street lights, and we had to use all of them. We had played around with the idea of doing contacts, but we didn't have money or time to really make that work. As a test shot, I went and added some minor flicker in the eyes, so it would look as if light is glinting off these, and where the eye should be, and it kind of ruined the idea that the creature is supposed to be blind. One thing that we really wanted to do, once we had decided, okay, the creature is blind, that's the twist, we were going to do makeup. So once Amanda trips and falls, my head would tilt upward, and you would see that there are two hollowed out eye sockets, and it would occur to the viewer, as it does with Amanda, like, oh my god, this fucker's blind. That's why he was crawling around on the floor before. He didn't have a sound, he didn't have a smell to go on, so he was just crawling around, feeling his way through, and he got scared. But then once he realized there was food nearby, and he could hear it, he could smell it, he went after it. It doesn't fully work, but the thing is that was the idea. Since we didn't have the time or the money really to invest in that kind of prosthetic, we just blackened out my eyes, even over the lids. So I am actually acting blind. I have my eyes closed for many of these shots. The shot with the apathetic neighbor was another holdover from Come Downstairs. The actor in that movie, the lead actor, Brandon Long, a friend of mine, he was the main character of that story, and the idea was that, this was going on around the same time as his story was happening. And that was supposed to be a cute moment. It just didn't work out that way. But I liked the shot anyway. In spite of it looking very digital. I don't know if your eye can detect this, but this is a green screen shot. The window is real. Brandon is real. Outside, it was a green screen. And I got a live plate of Amanda and myself running. Erica, again, operating the camera. And I told her, look, I'm doing the effects. We're going to need some plates. So we need to reason out some shots here. And she did that. We have this. And the green screen was a little rough. And something to keep in mind with green screen, if you have something that's a foreground object and a background plate or what have you, I like to play with the focus. I like to have an idea that, oh, we have a particular lens on the camera. So I put the foreground image out of focus. That way it draws the eye to the background plate. That way it looks a little more natural to the eye. It doesn't scream green screen really. The one shot here where it's supposed to be like his POV and you see those window frames. I used a character generator to create black bars, and I used a filter to blur them out, so like they're really close to my face. You know, it's really close to his face, and it looks more like, oh, he's looking out the window. That's why those black bars were there out of focus. I think most people get the idea that they're supposed to be window frames, but just in case, that's the idea. Then we have the follow-up shot. Now we've shifted focus. The background plate is out of focus and the foreground object is in focus. That way, because again, drawing the eye to the important subject, and that is Brandon in this case, because he's just like, ah, fuck this, and he pulls the shade down. My one serious contribution to the chase is this neighborhood watch, and a lot of that came, if you watch some of these dailies, we have all these cars driving past, and here oftentimes they were driving around while we were in mid-take. Nobody bothers to say a goddamn thing. Like, you see a woman being chased, you know, some guy is running after her, you'd think somebody would stop and be like, are you okay, ma'am? Or, you know, call the cops, like, hey, there's a couple of people doing shit out in the street. None of that shit happened. So I found this sign very, very funny. And Erica just started howling. She's like, that's in the movie. That is so going in the movie. I'm like, all right. I'm fine with that. Let's go. So keep your mind open. You know, experiment. Try things. Don't close your mind to anything. You know, when you're making movies on your own, you are free to do whatever the fuck you want. And don't marry yourself to one idea, because you're going to get with your friends, you're going to go out, you're going to make a movie, and you're going to try things. So you may have really loved that idea in your head, but you may actually come out with something better, yeah, if you leave your mind open. Anyway, that's it. Join us next time for when we release Skeletons and later Flicker. But get out there, make a movie, God damn it.